Morning guys and girls, hope you're doing well. Join me on a lovely sunny Monday morning for a very pretty car that you may be able to see over my shoulder there. So we've got a beautiful job to do, to be honest. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a big one. I'll try and keep the video not like an hour long like some have been lately, but it's just there's so much to show. I'm going to have like probably 2 weeks worth of work on this one, and how do I cut that down to like a 20-minute? But anyway, what we've got is a 1989 560 SEC that's just been not fully restored, nearly fully restored. It's got some beautiful wheels on it, it's got it slammed on air ride, it's got loads of things. Let me shut up and I'll show you the car. How nice does that look? Really cool 1989 gangster car. Especially extra gangster because those deep dish wheels, look how cool they are. So he's done a load of work to this. Love the rear flare arch, obviously because it's on air ride, it sits with a nice camber on it. I'll get it all pumped up out the way, pumped up more in a little bit. Interior looks really good. Got to do a load of stuff to this one, but really looking forward to getting into the nuts and bolts of this one. It's just got such a presence to it. It's just, you see that coming down the road and yeah, you know it's a proper old school car. I love these. Got the AMG kit on it. I'll show you at the back. It's a bit long, this one, so I'll show you at the back, the little spoiler on there. But no, just really nice. Thank you very much to Marcel for letting me do my magic on this one. So we are going for quite a cool old school style system. Basically Alpine type R throughout, because we just need it to be loud, clean, good quality and last a long time. Pretty much exactly saying what this car is. So really looking forward to this. It's gonna be pretty standardized. Just had a quick peep under here just to see what's going on, make sure we've got all the speaker wires and bits in places, but it's gonna look quite factory. I am gonna be doing door car builds, so we are gonna get an extra three-way set. So it's a three-way set going in the front door, 6.5-inch component speaker down on the door built into a custom trim, and then the three-way set living up under the grille, obviously rear speakers, and then the boots where the big magic's happening. So we're going for twin 12 Type R ported in a beautiful custom arrangement. So but yeah, really looking forward to getting onto this one. I won't waffle too much because my videos are far too long, but right, let me get some started on this. The main thing we got to do at the beginning, let me turn you around so you can see my beautiful face again. The main thing we got to do at the start of this is probably do all the sound deadening and laying all the cabling down and getting everything sort of in position for it. I think that'll be day one, is just get everything sort of prepped for what we're going to be doing audio wise, and then the next few days we'll be basically building it up and start going through it. I genuinely don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to take me more than a couple of days, obviously, so we shall see what it goes for. I think you're going for an alarm system as well. I've got to build something for the air ride to mount the air ride piece up into somewhere for him. So loads and loads of fun. Sit down, get a cup of tea, and I'll show you what I can do. That's that back end. Just looks awesome. Proper fanboying over this one because it is a stunning car. But as to work of it, as you can see at the moment, we're pretty damn basic and a bit beige and a bit boring. So it's going to be very different to what it looks like now, to be honest. I may even just quickly flash up a quick image of the difference. So let's have a little look. So that's the last piece of the puzzle that I wanted to put in there, which is obviously Alpine, because Alpine, Rude Mercs and myself. And as you can see, I think it looks really good in the red. It all matches through. So I don't know what colour he's going to have it, but yeah, I really like it. So it's time to give it a damn good clean, give it a wipe over, and then we are officially done. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of work there to be done. But yeah, first of all, I'm going to get all of this old carpet out of here and start working out what we've got, what needs to be addressed, and then start laying down some sound deadening and getting it sort of ready for the fun bit of this bit. So, right, let me get that stripped apart and you'll see it looking a bit worse than now. All right then, that's what we've got to work with. So everything's stripped down, all looking very good, to be honest. The metal and everything else looks great. So no worries about any sort of like, oh, by the way, Marcel, you need to deal with rust or anything like that. So Looks very, very clean down in here. Well, not clean, it will be soon. I'm gonna have to give it a nice wipe over because the sound deadening, you start sticking it to this and it's just gonna pick up all the dust and everything. So let me give this a little hoover. I guess there's a little bit over there, but that's not bad. It's just surface stuff. So, and a little bit there, yeah, standard sort of things. So, right, let me get this all wiped over and cleaned and hoovered and everything else. And then I'm gonna start laying down the sound deadening, and you should see it when it all looks really nice and sort of silvery and ready to take some vibration. So, 31 sheets so far, double skinned on the sidewalls, because to be honest, they're a nice big open area. And obviously it's all down inside here as well. But yeah, 31 sheets later, and cloth wrap on some of the cabling, basically just making it all nice and neat and sort of, I don't want things to vibrate underneath, because once I build this area up, I don't have to go back in afterwards. So far so good. I'm in mixed minds about what to do back here. Obviously I've still got to neaten up the way the guy put the air ride in. He's just sort of had that hanging across there, so I still got to sort that out. But I got mixed minds on what to do on this next bit. So there is a metal sheet that usually goes over, and you probably saw it in there, they've got a carpet on it. It's quite thin metal, and I think for the design that we're going for, I don't think I'm going to put that back in. I can't foresee any reason. It's not structural, it just bolts in top and bottom, just 10mm bolts, nothing to do with sort of the structure of the vehicle. The fuel tank itself is bolted in down there, so it's nothing to do with that. I think I'm gonna leave it out because I think it's just gonna be a thin piece of metal that may eventually just end up wobbling backwards and forwards, even if I sound deaden it, because it's just fixed in the corners and there's a whole spar bit in the middle that isn't sort of there. So yeah, I don't think I'll do that. I've still got a sound deaden up underneath that boot lid. What boot lid? What would it be? Like the parcel shelf, but it's not the parcel shelf. I can't think of the name of it now. So yeah, just going to sort out a few more of these cables, get the sounding up here, and then hopefully that's the prep work done on this. But that has taken me, what's the time? Nearly 5:20, so about 7 hours so far just to get all the sound deadening in. It is labour intensive, but I think you find it looks really good. I've still got the isolators to go over the top of this stuff as well, but at the moment I just want to get the core metal stuff done. So far so good. Okay, so got that all neatened up now, down under there, made those a lot nicer. Just take out the rear deck bit just to make sure we're all good there. Still got sound in that. Just doing the sound deadening up on this bit here, which will take the sound deadening, and then I'm going to put absorption on it. I've got a little bit of a head scratch because this stuff isn't particularly light. Now, I was planning to build something up here like a cool sort of light up logo for Alpine and other bits and pieces. But the issue I've got, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to overcome it very easily, is this stuff weighs quite a bit, and then the absorption layer weighs a bit, and then the wooden bit that I'd put up there with the lighting and the perspex and everything else also weighs a bit. And right now, even with just that, the weight of it does want to take it down. Now it has got like springs up under here. I don't know if you can see that moving, so I don't know whether I can manipulate the springs, but that will be a bit of fun for another day. I've got to fire up the 3D printer as well tonight, so I just thought I'd come up here and see what's happening under the grills. Now I know why it sounded so bad, because that speaker isn't mounted down, no tweeter on it, pretty rubbish looking to be honest, so I've not taken it out and have a look. But at least on the other side, we do have the original speaker. But I can tell straight away why this one sounded awful, because check out that. Definitely a Perish speaker. So obviously a 4x6 would have been the original setup in here, but we're going to get the mid and the tweeter in here. I'm going to go and grab them and just have a quick eyeball up and see how that looks. So I'll show you that in a sec. So what we've got there is the mid driver and the treble driver from the R2S653, which is going in here, with the main woofer going down in the door, and obviously this here. Now, even that, it looks like it fits, but it is very tight. I'm a little bit conscious about that grill going back over the top of them. That tweeter, I think I'm going to have to change how that tweeter mounts up, but the rest of it should fit fine. The mid will work, but the tolerances are tiny on it. I'm definitely gonna have to get my old skills out with the CAD modeling for that, but basically I wanted like a plate that's gonna sit in and cover most of that, and then obviously allow the original grille to go back over it. But yeah, that'll be a bit of fun and game, but I think acoustically that'll be lovely in there, and obviously the same over on the other side. So right, I'll have to get my CAD skills out for that. I've also got 3D print some pieces for the doors. Now Marcel did talk about having some sort of lighting effect. So we're gonna have the main 6.5-inch driver down here. I think I'm gonna 3D print a cool little mount that will allow me to get what's called like a speaker ring insert for LED, so that I can then light it up and then get it sort of a nice kick angle somewhere around here. I've got that as a limit because that matches up on there. I don't really want to go above here so it doesn't look like there's an overlap. So I've got to sort of work with the bulk of what's down here. Not really great design to have a speaker in there. Obviously we've got this pocket, so I'll have to try and finish this pocket piece off, which means this will have to get trimmed over. Yeah, it's a bit of a bugger, but I will make it work. Rear speaker wise, taking the grills out, and got to be very careful with these because these things are very hard to get hold of nowadays. So we've got like the adapter ring in there already. Now the initial plan was to go with a component speaker, but I know that the height of that and everything else, I can make it go flat, but we've not got any depth because of the fact that we've got that bar there. So I think a coaxial is going to work just fine in there, because all we need to do, the angle's nice on it, the tweeter will be displaying outwards, forwards. If not, you're going to have to try and sort of squeeze the tweeter into the corner somewhere. I could have it up on that stage there, but let's see how the grille sits. There is a vent piece there, so there's possibility to have it in the front corner in front of the speaker. But what I guess the fun of games is we're moving a tweeter from here to here. Now there is an argument about coaxial being not as good sounding as component, but we're going to have such good component sound coming up the front here that I think for a bit of rear feel and to make it just work nicely, considering how much work I've got to do in the boot there, I think a coax is going to be just fine in that. I've not taken that one out yet, but I think there is, by the looks of it, a speaker in that one. So I'm not sure what happened with this one, but so far so good. Obviously the rest of the car just comes apart fine. We've got the runs there for the air ride stuff, and I think I'm gonna have to pick up some of the cabling on that side. But yeah, so far so good. It's about 9 o'clock at night, so I think I'm gonna go home and go and do the CAD modeling, get them printed over, figure out what else I need to cut up for that, and figure out what I'm going to do back here, and then crack on from there. So I will see you in the morning with some nice, hopefully perfect fit 3D printed parts that will just drop straight in. Okay, the next day, and those prints went good, and we still got the gap there to get the original grille bit back in. I haven't put the grille on it yet, but I think that will be fine, and the level of it looks like that's going to be good there. So yeah, much happy. So that's one bit ticked off to deal with. All right, so grille back on, and annoyingly you can't see any of it. So Marcel did talk about removing, there's like a mesh on the back of the grille so that you can actually see what's going on in there, which I think could be nice, but it is also nice knowing that it's in there and you can't see anything. So easy fix later on if required. So I'm going to get the other side in, get that bit all sorted, and then that's that front array done. Obviously I've still got to mount them down, but just make sure they all fit up fine. Okay, I've got a little update of what I've been doing for the last few days in here, because to be honest, I've jumped forwards a fair bit. To the untrained eye, it doesn't look like much. Okay, you can see all the sound deadening up on there, for instance. The back's all in bits and pieces. This window's down, that window's up. Not sure why they're like that, but that's how it is. If you look very carefully, you can see there's a new stereo up the front there, which I'll get to in a second. But one of the big things that I have been doing is that there's no point having this great sound system and great car if you don't have security. So let me just shut the doors. And we have gone for a lovely Viper system that will do, the battery looks like it's a little bit low. I'll fix that one. That one's very sticky. The other ones aren't too bad. You can see lock with full closure, which is always nice. pretty fun and games to do on this one, to be honest, but not too bad. Obviously, we are locking the door and everything else on it. But really cool is we'll hold the little button on the side, and that will give us remote engine start, which is always good in an old classic vehicle because you're going to want it warm for when you drive it. So obviously as well, with the window closure, we can also vent the windows, or we can do a full open. So I hold it down and that will go into full open mode now. I think these need some silicone in the runners. I'll see if I can suss that out. But one of the things, let me just turn it off so I don't gas myself out. One of the fun things is when I was removing the dashboard and all the other bits, if you'd seen it, it was all in bits and pieces because that's how you have to fit the alarms and things. Everything's hidden away. But I found this monstrosity of cabling and alarm bits and old stereos and a whole bag of stuff there. So the price of copper now, that's probably worth quite a lot because that will be real copper, none of this tin stuff. So if we go into the vehicle, I'll show you a few more things. One thing he's asked me to do, which I think this is really cool, is we have under-dash lighting front and back. Now he wanted it to do it when the door opens. So obviously door opens, it's a bit lame because then when you shut the door, it turns off. Apart from, we can turn our lights on and then that will come back on. So I think that's worked out really good. Obviously the speakers that you saw are all mounted in up the top there. Door cards are off in prep for the next stage of the door work. What else we got? So down here, that's his aero control that was just lying loose. And I've decided to do a little 3D print, put a little curve on it, mount that piece in there, going to trim that over. I think that's going to look great when it's done. And obviously the stereo. Now, this is an old school cool stereo. It's a CDA 7876 RB. I'll power it up and it's a lovely bit of kit. So it's going to give us all we want in regards to quality of sound. The electric air was going up, I can hear that. It doesn't really have modern facilities, so I've added on a Bluetooth streamer and connected that up to the auxiliary, so we can do some aux work on it. But obviously it's silver, and I guess that is the only sort of downside of what I've done. I've put in there, but you may notice it's got a black trim around it. It's like, Neil, why have you done that? It would look better with silver. Well, I painstakingly, let me just remove this one. He supplied me another fascia, and I've painstakingly gone ahead and took it all apart, and we now have the rarest 7876 RB known to man, because we are in a matte black now, and I think that looks really cool. The black really pulls it off lovely on that. With the alarm as well, we've also got proximity, which is mounted down underneath there, so that's going to be great because then we're going to get worn away tones and everything else. We have got shock sensors and things. What else to show you in here? I don't think there's much. So obviously the back of it is all apart. You can see I've just started laying down the sounding and just got a roll of that in. I've run my cabling through for the doors. All the cable management is done up here. What else we? Oh yeah, we put in modern style LED lighting up on there, so looks a bit nicer. And I've changed the LED lights in here so they're brighter at night because those were really dim. So we're kind of nearly there up this front end. Which is crazy to think how much work has had to happen up here. Let me turn around. It's actually a bank holiday, so don't expect to see my Creative Car Sounds uniform. So it's Monday. Well, yeah, it's Monday, bank holiday, Easter. Easter bank holiday Monday even. I think that is the bulk of the stuff here. I've ran through a 0 gauge cable to run through for the power. I've run through good quality RCA cables that are now terminating in the back. We've got 3 of those. We've got all 3 of the separate wiring going through from the front because we're going to rear mount the crossovers. I've run the cabling through for the lighting. I've run the cabling through for the remote. I've checked everything else up under here to make sure it's all good as gold. So far, so good. So we are close to, well, I guess once I've done the fiberglass work and done the door pods, everything up this end is done. And then I can get on with building the cool stuff in the boot. So, but I kind of wanted to get all this bit signed off so that I know that I can just concentrate on the boot build. So I hope you like it. Like I say, to the untrained eye, apart from taking a few doors off, it doesn't look like much, but trust me, there's a hell of a lot of work gone into this. A lot of it was just removing old stuff that was in here. There was, I don't know what it was, there was like a telecoms box that had like a readout here, which had aerials running up onto the roof, and all sorts of stuff was going on here. Lots and lots, where you can see all that down there is not required anymore. So, new bonnet pin up the front. I think that's it. So I'm trying to cut the waffle down, so I'll jump forwards another big step. I'll probably now just show you when I've got the doors done. May show you a bit of how I'm going to build them, but I'll show you when the door's done, and then the bulk of the video is going to be me doing that back bit. So I'll catch you in a little bit once I've got these doors sort of fabricated. Thought I'd better show you what's happening back here before I put it back together. But actually, we have gone for the component and just got the tweeter mounted up the front there, speaker there, and obviously the grill goes back over. That one's already in. So no, I think they're going to be absolutely banging back there. They've already got a good sound to them, so I really love these speakers. So everything inside the car is kind of done now, all that bit. So the next fun and games I've got to do is sort out these door pods. So what I've got to achieve is to basically, I've got a 3D printed mount that's got a gap for a lighting that's going to sit inside here. I've got to get that to sort of nicely work within this shape. It's not going to be easy because we've got a pocket piece, so there'll have to be sort of like a fillet bit going in the top there, and we want to get a bit of kick angle on it so it sort of doesn't just sit flat. It would look wrong if it went like that, for instance. So I'm going to do a bit of head scratching and work out what the best way I can to get this into here. Well, no going back now. So I've made the cuts that I think I want the angles at. I'm just letting these set in with some mitre glue just to see whether they're sort of where I want them and things. So there's a couple of little stalk pieces just to hold up the back edge. Obviously it'll all be fiberglassed over, so I'm not worried too much about that. It's nice as well because that whole speaker is actually sitting on this side of the card. It hasn't had to punch through, which is good because it means it keeps the moisture barrier there. So I'm happy with that. My only thing is once these are set, I've just got to make sure that we're going to have enough clearance around these areas for the little air vent pieces that go in, because they are slightly bigger than this, and whether when I drop the carpet straight down there, whether it's going to interfere or not. But I think it's all good. I don't think we can get much more kick, but to be honest, it's going to look nice on there. So Marcel's already said to me he doesn't want it sort of looking too audacious, so it sort of keep it more sort of more simplistic. So I think once this is sort of stretched over across here, rolls up onto there, picks up that nice curve area there, that drops down square to finish off, I think that'll look really good. So we'll let those set in, check the position of them, then start fiberglassing them into final position. Yeah, I think that's going to work out all right. Let me get the door open, you see the light of it. So no, that should look pretty smart when it's in there. The main criteria, oh sorry, let me just get the door jarred open a bit, is the fact that it clears this bit and it meets where this bit here doesn't sag down. So I know when I take the carpet, I've got the room there just to stay on this bit and run that through. So right, I'm going to get those fiberglass in position. It's kind of good that it doesn't stick through behind because there isn't much there. I don't really fancy cutting the metal out, and that looks like a nice reinforcement pulp for something. So no, I'm glad we haven't got to start chopping the metal up back here. Well, they don't look very pretty now, but they will do. So essentially we've got the little wooden pocket sort of enclosed piece, so that'll bring it down so you can't see into the speaker bit. And the actual form of them I really like. I think it's going to turn out very good once it's all solid and fiberglass and obviously blended in and then obviously fully retrimmed. So no, it's getting there. Right, I'm going to soak these with resin, get that all nice and stiff, and then we're going to start the laborious task of more sanding. They're going to look lovely, so just got to do the filler work around it, but really liking the style. Looks very classy, should we say. And at the top there, it's nice because it matches back on with that perforated piece, so it all sort of follows through. And then obviously we've got the wooden bit there that's going to make the pocket bit, so very cool. Well, we've got a bit of a slight issue. It's an issue, but it's not really an issue. So I'm trying to stretch this over with some sort of cream vinyl without doing stitch work. And as you can see, it's come out pretty appalling. I can't stretch this enough to get through. I may try some heat in a second, see if that loosens it up a bit. But if not, I'm going to have to go carpet. Now, it's not really a problem because I know Marcel is actually getting the whole interior of the car retrimmed. I don't think he really minds what goes on here for the moment because it will be changed. But yeah, it's a shame that I can't get this a bit nicer. So I'm going to throw some heat on there and see whether I can help get some of this out of it. Well, with a lot of mucking about and a lot of heat, it's a pretty horrible trim, to be honest. Managed to get that all looking good enough. And the worst thing is, he's going to be ripping it off in a couple of weeks' time and get it all redone anyway. But I couldn't give it away without at least putting something on it. So I think it'll look nice when it's in there. Now they're all built up, I'm going to start treating the doors with some sound deadening bits and pieces. Going to use one of the comfort packs, which consists of the deadening, the isolator, and the soft wave for the actual card itself. The soft wave, I don't know whether it's going to be too thick because of the way this fits on, but we're going to see. But we're definitely going to do the sound deadening and the isolator. So let me get that into the door and we'll see how she looks. Well, we'll never see it again, but we know that it's in there. Right, get the isolator on and then we can start dealing with the front panel of it. So now we've got our insulator layer in, which is this nice soft stuff, so that will really deaden out any road noise coming through. I'm going to put the waterproof membrane back down, make sure it all sticks on, and then I'm going to do the wave on the back of the actual door card itself. Right, so I got all that in, and that is the last piece of the puzzle for the sound insulating on the doors. I'm not going to lie, but I do impress myself sometimes. I think that looks so good stock. I'll give you a closer look in a second. But one of the huge great things it does is we got light up as well. So very, very cool. I'll give you a closer look. Yeah, I think it's come out really nice in there. The grille doesn't protrude past it. Obviously, like the pocket piece looks like an extension to it. You open the doors, turn the lights on, you get the light effect. The Alpine logo looks really cool down there. So yeah, really happy with the way that is. Right, just got to now get the other one in. At night, this is gonna look nuts. Proper stylish. I do actually really like those. I wasn't sure whether it would look good or not, but no, I really like how that's come out. So really good. And then the last piece, we've now got the air ride bit all trimmed in the center there. So this front end is officially done. Now it's time to build the boot area. Right, finally, I'm glad to be working back on the rear section of it. So the next layer, obviously you saw me put down all that silver sound deadening before, covered all the areas, all the metal. So we're now going to go over it with basically like an absorption layer, which is basically just like a thick foam that just basically is going to help anything that's resting on it or anything that's sort of in the area to stop moving around. So it's just a case of covering up. It hasn't got to be a full cover, like it doesn't matter if there's gaps there. It's just basically, well, to be honest, I don't think with the amount of bass that we're going to get in here, this is probably not even required on the fact that it's still going to vibrate the hell out of everything. It's an old car, so they do move about a bit. But yeah, it's just a case of getting it all into position. At least Marcel knows that I have done it. I've still got to do the wheel arches and then some bits down here. And then I can start laying the floor down. Once I've got the floor cut in, that gives me the chance to then start building up, and then you'll see some more cool stuff. Right, we've got that all in now. So it's all sort of insulated out, and I've just sounded in the actual fuel tank because it's a big bit of metal. So I don't want it to resonate. Once it's full with water, in theory, it shouldn't resonate. But before I do everything else, it sort of makes sense just to put some under there. So right, let's get the floor in, and that will give me my height that I can then start building up on. Well, we've got our floor in, so just fits all the bits I need it to, and that's going to give me a really nice solid base to start building up from. So I guess we're going to get the sub box underway. It's going to be a central port with sub and sub either side. I don't really want it coming out any further than that bit there so that it drops straight down. So I've got a bit of space. I'm thinking about, what we got? We got twin 12 Type R's, so probably about 1.7 each sub is good. So probably about a 3.5 litre, 3.5 cubic foot box with a nice good port on it. I'll have to work out once I've got the size of the box and the port opening, which I think I'm going to do. Good size for the R's is like a 10 by 1 inch. We're doing double port, so I'm probably going to expand it out to a 2-inch, but keep it 10-inch high. And then from that, I'll work out how long it needs to do. And I want to get down to sort of like the low 30 hertz frequencies, like a 32, 33, those sort of hertz. I know he likes deep bass. So once I've got all those measurements done, I'll then work out the port length and then make sure that we've got enough room. Looking at it, we have, because the subs won't go in too far, but obviously the actual port itself is going to be inside the box. It's going to have to go back, and I imagine it's going to have to split left and right, because I doubt we've got enough just going backwards in that little space there. But right, we will start getting the box made up. That's 18mm ply. I'm going to do the box out of MDF, and I'm going to resin it as well. So far, we have a little bit of progress. Almost forgot to give you a sneaky peek of what's happening inside the box. So obviously that's our twin 12 ports. We've got, what is it, 120 litres in there. So it's quite a big box, or what, 3.5-ish cubic foot. But yeah, no, I think that's going to work out really nice. Obviously this is just a rough cut. It'll all be routed through to make it look smart. So, but yeah, I think this thing is going to absolutely thump. Right, so that's some of the routering detail done. As you can see, I've just basically put open chambers. It's not in the centre yet, that's why it doesn't look sort of totally square. But basically, yeah, just opening up where the air is going to blow in and out, just to help it through, basically. And obviously, I want the air from this side to come along here and naturally progress this way, rather than sort of try and fight that one. So it should act as a little duct just to help that round. So a quick little update on the actual box itself. So it's all been painted up inside with waterproof paint. The front panel is the only one that I haven't attached yet. I've got the router channels on the back of it so I can hide my trim. And I think that is going to sound great. First time seeing it in the back here, and I think that's just the right amount of depth that I want on that to still get the size of the box right. So it's pretty big when you think about it, how big this boot is. So this thing should absolutely thump out. So that's the start of the beauty panel piece that's going to go on. Just making sure I like the shape and the form. And yeah, no, I think that'll be nice. There's just enough space to get a nice light glow without it looking too sort of in your face. No, should be good. Okay, so I've jumped forwards a bit on this now. We've now got the cap and the main amp, which is the R2, was it the R150M? That's going to be powering our 2 subwoofers. So a lot of detail on that, just basically just to get the bit for the actual power cap to stick through and things. Obviously there's going to be a beauty panel over the front of it with some perspex in there, but it's nice to see it sort of in position and how it's going to present in the future. So no, very happy with that. And obviously that side still needs to be done. Really starting to take shape now, so you can see how it's going to run. Obviously that hatch at the bottom is to get down to the air ride system in the future. But no, looking very good. So I think nice and classy, exactly how I want it. Once the black comes in and then you get the lighting along the bottom, along these side edges where these other amp racks are going to be, I think that's going to really pop. We are definitely getting there now. All up and running, all speakers working. Basically it's now just got to make it look the part. Let's get this disco started. Yeah, I guess it looks all right. I've still got to put the perspex in. I guess it's quite nice to see down and see the air ride, and you can see all the tanks and everything else. So that's pretty cool. And obviously when it turns on, there's a little light down there as well, which will light that up. So no, I guess it's worth doing. Well, that looks pretty cool, to be honest. Nice to be able to see down into the air out system. So excuse me. Well, that's all good. So that bit is officially all done, all looking lovely. Last piece of the puzzle, just a nice little beauty panel on there, and then a lovely bit of perspex in the center, but you'll see it as I go. Well, there's some really weird angles going on. Ignore this bit of wood down here and the same one over there. I've had to leave sort of like an air gap because I don't want these enclosed. I want the air to be able to come up through sort of from the base, rising up behind the panel, because this is going to have perspex on it, so I don't want to cook them. But there's some real funky angles happening here. But I think once that's all blacked off, and obviously there'll be some little corner pieces just to block out these sort of little areas here, I think we're getting there. It's annoyingly, Marcel wants me to put a window in the bottom of this bit so he can see down to his air ride, which means I've got to retrim all that. So thank you very much for that, but customer's always right, as they say. once I've got these bits sort of blacked out and perspex and everything, then I can put the lighting in them. Then it's just a case of sort of doing this panel that's going to run along this edge, building this bit, and then we're done. So really looking forward to it being done, because it's been here a while, but it is a shame because it's sort of a case of I have to work after hours on it. So, but yeah, I've got my little workbench set up over there, so I'm cutting my wood and I'm doing my thing. All right, that's the final piece of the deadening going up on the panel that is above everything else. So that's our final absorption layer. And I think I'll leave it when the perspex goes through. I think you're going to see that. And I think that's going to look kind of cool, so you can see it underneath. I wasn't sure about leaving these red spars exposed so that you can see it, but then I think it's going to look better like this. And let's have a little look. So that's the last piece of the puzzle that I wanted to put in there, which is obviously Alpine, because Alpine, Rude Mercs and myself. And as you can see, I think it looks really good in the red. It all matches through. So I don't know what colour he's going to have it, but yeah, I really like it. So it's time to give it a damn good clean, give it a wipe over, and then we are officially done. Oh, and yeah, regards to that tailgate, if I let go of that, it drops straight down. So he's definitely going to need a prop or something just to have that up, so when he wants to show it. But that could be nice, just a little prop that fits in there and then hooks up onto that top bit. That should be lovely. So should be good as gold. Right, let me get this cleaned off and we'll get some nice beauty shots. There it is in all its glory, doing its multicolour lighting. I don't know what colour I prefer, to be honest. White looks really nice, really clean, really clinical. You got the blues, which are good because they'll match with the logos that come up on the amplifiers. Obviously red because the Type R setup. But no, really, really cool. Obviously you can see there the detailing as well behind for the sound absorption layer. So no, I think it looks really, really good. So I just hope he likes it, which I'm sure he will do. Obviously you've got the air ride access down there as well, so you can see all that. So no, very, very happy with it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. That's been weeks and weeks of work on a really, really cool Merc. I don't know really what I've shown you. I don't think I've shown you the building process, to be honest, because this has been hot. It's been hard work. It's been dirty. The car's in a state. I definitely need to get it washed. So I'm going to give it a quick jet wash over. And he's actually got a detailer coming down tomorrow as well, just to give it that nice shine. But no, I'm really happy with it. Obviously, you know throughout the build what we've done. Excuse the mess in here. But basically, obviously, we've got the custom speaker pods. We've got the three-way Alpine Type Rs sitting up here. We've got the lovely retro custom black stereo in here. We've got the Alpine Type R sitting up on the back. And you've seen what his boot game's like. So absolutely drops a ton out of bass. Still got to bed it in, still got to do all the normal sort of stuff. The box is tuned. I've done some frequency tests on it, about 38 hertz, which is really spot on for what we need for a couple of 12s hitting that. You could go lower, but then you can't get that decent sort of bass through. It's a case of, yeah, you want it to be musical. So yeah, low 40s, 30s or high 30s, low 40s, absolutely spot on for that. So really, really happy with it. Power seems to be managing it as well, not getting much light dim. Power cap's doing its thing. I don't know what else there is to mention, really. Obviously, we've got the alarm system on here with remote engine start, all the bits and pieces. So yeah, a whole load of work. And apparently he's got really, really big plans for what's happening in here. So all of my trim work is kind of a waste, because this apparently is going to go full red interior, which I'm in mixed minds. I think it'll be really cool because he's getting it done at a really good place and it's going to look awesome. But red with red with red with, I don't know what he's planning to do in this. I've heard some detailing about maybe taking these black with little red Rudmerks logoing on it, which will look awesome. So really looking forward to seeing how this car evolves through. Obviously, we've got the good stuff down now. So we've got the sound systems he can turn up. He wants that real sort of like wobbly big bass, and you'll feel this one definitely at shows and things. So I'm really happy with the way those Alpine Type Rs are producing the bass for that. I don't know what else there is to say, really. I've got loads of jobs lined up as always in the pipeline, so I'm not even sure what's going to be next. This may come out before the TVR, this may come out after the TVR, and then there's a whole host of other stuff to get on with. I have been asked potentially to do another mobile DJ booth, which is awesome, so I'm really looking forward to if I can get my hands on that one. Just going through some of the details and bits and pieces. So right, I'm going to go home because it is 9:45 on a Thursday night and I am done. So let me give this a quick jet. Actually, no, I'm not done. Let me give it a jet wash and then I'm going home. But I hope you really enjoyed the video, guys. Like and subscribe. I think I've just made 1,800 subscribers, which is, yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, let's see how this venture goes on with this car. It'll be great to see what comes up on the Instagram and the YouTubes and everything else from it. So as always, guys, have a great day and I'll catch you on the next one.